Good morning, all. We have gathered here today to commence the final thesis defense for the student, Dr. Anuradha Senadira. Welcome, Dr. Anuradha.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much.
Here we are honored to have our panel that's who will be evaluating and provide the final comments. So let's get introduced. First, we are honored to have Dr. Dinuka Karunaratne, Managing Quality Assurance in leading manufacturing company in Sri Lanka. We warmly welcome Dr. Dinuka. And we are honored to have Dr. N.M.K.K. Navaratna, who serves as Deputy Director, General Administrations and Finance, SLIATE, Sri Lanka. We warmly welcome Dr. Navaratna.
Yes, you are. Thank you very much.
And Dr. Anuradha will take over and continue the session by presenting his slides. Take over to you, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think everyone can. Am I audible for everyone? I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, Dr. Anuradha, you're audible.
Thank you.
We can hear. I can hear you. Yeah.
Thanks, doctors. Thank you very much. So I'll be starting. Actually, this is my second PhD. Actually, I did complete my first one in 2020. It was I studied about the academic performance management international schools. So in there, I have mentioned this will be one of my future researches. So that's why I decided to take this and take another PhD in management. So my topic is study on the effectiveness of academic performance management at degree awarding institutions. So when you look at my content, it's like introduction. So here I'll be explaining about degree awarding institutes and background of the issue and the research gap, research problem and justification of the research problem, research questions and the objectives and the significance of the study. Then I'll be moving to literature review, conceptualization, research methodology, data analysis, discussion, conclusion, and recommendation, the references at the end. So when you move to the introduction, actually, first my research, what I understood is there's a big market for the international school. So those who are studying international schools, because sometimes they don't get a chance to go to government school, and they select their parents, because the parents, they wanted to go to the best schools in the country. So when they don't get, they send their children to the international schools. And what they do there is they do London A-levels, London O-levels and A-levels. Then after completing them, they want to find a university. So some students, they move to another country, to foreign universities, and the balance will be studying in Sri Lanka. So in here, there are many institutions, degree awarding institutions, and they offer foreign degrees. So they select these institutions to follow their degrees. And the other important thing is when we look at the recognition of these degrees, so only institute that we can see that authentication is given for these degrees from the UGC in Sri Lanka. What they mention is normally these degrees should be members of one of these institutions, association like member of Commonwealth universities or an association of international universities. Then they say these degrees are valid and universities are accepted. Another important thing we see about the degree of institutions, we can see a lot of diversity, because everyone, students from different backgrounds, they come here and they study here, and diversity is entertained and inclusion can be found in these institutions. So when you look at my background of the issue, what I can find here is most of these foreign university degrees are affiliated to UK, Australia, USA, India. Most of these are high-ranked universities and well recognized. They do offer degrees such as management, IT, but sometimes we can see in some institutions, their main intention is given to get more students for their institutions and to earn higher profit, but they don't much concern about the effectiveness of the academic performance management. So this is like a background of the issue what I have found. And there's a research gap I found. First one is the theoretical gap. So a lot of research is done before. It's based on the Western educational context and not exactly targeting the social-cultural dynamic in Sri Lanka, the Sri Lankan education sector and degree awarding institutions. So there is a gap there. So that's another main gap I have found. In addition, there is an empirical gap. most of the research is done or it's not based on the institutional level, and there's so the alignment with national education quality standards and the impact on both students' outcome and faculty performance we have to concern. So that's the empirical gap. And methodological gap we found here is most of the researchers, but there are some researchers who have done mixed method, but most of the researchers what I have found is they have selected these metrics as quantitative analysis. But in here, I have selected the mixed method where I use a quantitative plus qualitative analysis. Then I try to give a better evaluation or better holistic evaluation for the about the performance management system in these degree awarding institutions. The next one is about
Excuse me, Dr. Anuradha, I think we cannot hear you.
Yes, we can't hear you. There's a problem.
am I audible now?
Yes.
Now that is okay.
Okay. Okay. I have a small issue. So since the stop that bar is there, I was unable to see exactly my slide and my topics. My slide is okay, I can remember, but slide topic, which that's what happened. I'm sorry, that's why I clicked, I think, the mute button. I'm extremely sorry about that. Okay, it's about change here. Research problem. So when you come to Sri Lankan context, when you look at the higher education and our Sri Lankan culture, we mainly concerned about education, the key driver for socio-economic development. So always the students, they go for a better education, but there is a limited empirical evidence that we can find how performance management system affect the academic productivity and overall quality of the education. So therefore, we have to find whether we can achieve through this research this objective, this thingy. And existing studies have often focused on Western models, and because most of research is done about the Western culture and Western educational culture, so therefore it's not exactly fully translated to the unique cultural and economic and educational framework in operating in Sri Lanka. Next one is justification of the research problem. When you look at the justification, I'm trying to seek the bridge this research gap by not only exploring and assessing the existing performance management system, but also by providing suggestions to improve and recommend suitable method, suitable system if it is not up to the standard. And in addition, the research is underlined by the increasing pressure on Sri Lankan Institute. Then they can be a robust framework can be there, and that will lead to they can compete with global education institutions and education standard. So that's we can find justify this research problem. My research question, these are the nearest to my research objectives, and this question attempt for me to find the answers. First one is what performance management system are currently in place at degree awarding institutes in Sri Lanka? How do academics at these institutes perceive the effectiveness of the current performance management system? In what ways do performance management system impact the quality of teaching within Sri Lankan degree awarding institutions? So those are my research questions, and my objectives my main objective will be critically evaluate the effectiveness of the existing performance management system of academics in degree awarding institution in Sri Lanka. So in there, I'll be narrowed my objectives to see explore the existing performance management system and how they are utilizing it in institutions, and to provide say recommendation for the improvement in the performance management system in the degree awarding institution in Sri Lanka. Significance of the study. The first thing is theoretical contribution. After doing this research, some contribution will be there for the literature. So it can be helpful for human resource management or the organizational behavior in higher education sector. So they can use this theoretical contribution. In addition to academic effectiveness can be further improved because academics motivation and engagement and their performance improvement is really important for see the educational productivity in institutions. Therefore, there will be a contribution for the academic effectiveness, and the policymakers will be getting a chance with this the information to do changes and correct policy to be implemented, etc. Even educational administrations can develop more targeted policies and enhance the quality teaching and research in the institution. So this is really important, I feel. What I did, this research is really significant for a lot of areas. This is a literature review. In the literature review, I target about goal setting theory, where you can find when your goal is or target is given, that will lead to increase the performance, suggesting so you clear objectives in performance system can enhance the academic productivity. In addition, the feedback loop theory, that means always you have to give the feedback, continuous feedback will improve the performances and effectiveness of the performance management system. And these theories are exactly applied in the normal corporate sector. Hopefully this will be very helpful even education sector because really successful in other sectors. When you look at the Sri Lanka in the literature review, we have limited resources and administrative support in performance management. We can't find much researchers or very less researchers on these areas, but it's really important. And the paucity or scarcity of research specifically examine the effectiveness of system within Sri Lankan degree awarding institutions, and it's need to have a more transparent and fair comprehensive approaches, because preliminary studies suggest that while performance evaluations are conducted, no much transparency, no much fairness, and that should be the issue we have seen in literature. So my this will be actually, it's not, I'm sorry, it's not working. I don't know because it's Zoom. I hope there are three. My direct effect is shown from measurements. It cannot be seen here. Measurements of performance to independent. This is my independent variables, 3 independent variables. Measurements of performance, training and development, and setting performance standard. And this is my mediator, mediating factor, organizational culture, and this is my effectiveness of academic performance management. There is a direct effect. It's not shown due to, I think it's Zoom, and measurements of performance to independent variable to the dependent variable, and there's a mediating effect from each independent variable mediate to the dependent variable, and there's effect from independent to the mediate and mediate to the dependent variable. It's okay. This is a hypothesis. It's properly shown, I hope. The direct effect from it's shown from H1A. For this one, it's shown H1C. And there will be a mediator from independent to the mediator, H2A, H2B, H2C, and then H3A for the mediate analysis from indirect effect, and then finally H4 for mediate the dependent variable. So these are my hypotheses. It's defined already before. And H1A risk person measurements of performance has significant impact on effectiveness of the academic performance management. Same way H1B training and development, and H1C setting standard. And H2A from measurements of performance has impact on a mediator, and H2B and H2C for the other independent fact variable to the mediator. And H3A and 3B and 3C is for the indirect effect. That means measurements of performance and significant impact on effectiveness of academic performance management through organizational culture. Is 3B from training to dependent variable through organization culture. H3 setting standard to dependent variable through organization culture. And my fourth hypothesis, H4, will be organization culture has significant impact on effectiveness of academic performance management to mediate to the dependent variable. And this is my research methodology. This is exploratory research where you can find literature and you conduct focus group interview, and the cross-sectional research and cross-section studies, we collect data and during a particular time period. So we do that research, and sampling method is random sampling is used for the questionnaire because it's most of the lecturers are like homogeneous. So that's why I have selected. So anyone can be given an opportunity. But in the interview, I have selected purposive sampling because I have selected the head of the organization, where you can find who is always involved in this effectiveness of the performance management. So performance management is dealing mainly the head of the institute. So that's why I have selected purposive sampling to do the interview when selected heads of the each institutions. So it's a questionnaire and the interview were held to achieve the objectives of the study. So my sample is out of 30, when I'm starting 2021, there were 30 international schools from UGC, the information I got. And then sample size was 20. I have selected, it's mainly because most of the institutes were located in Western province, where we can find. And out of 850 response in population, I have selected 400 to do the research. And my primary data is questionnaire with structured question interview, and secondary is documents available in the institute. So data was collected 400, it represents 47% from the populations. And interview was done with the head of the sections, so head of the institutions in 20 institutes selected. Pilot survey was done by selecting 10 institutions and 40 respondents. So its cron by alpha was calculated under each variable. In the data analysis for the measurement performance, you can see, and training and development, my result alpha was more than 0.9, which is internal excellent high consistency. But in setting standard organized culture and EAP effectiveness of academic performance management, it was more than 0.7, but it's acceptable because requirement is 0.7. So therefore, it's accepted the pilot study because the questionnaire was okay to proceed. And when you look at the, when you look at the validity, so when you look at the validity, I have concern about variance statistics, total variance studies in the cumulative thing. You can see in here, the first was explained with 28.537, and the second one was explained from the previous few factors, it's 39.05. And when you go to 12th one, I'm not sure whether you can see, it's explained 82%, where you can see this indicate the factor structures robust and captured significant proportion, which is good for conversion. It's not conversion validity, it's good for conversion validity. And then we go to validity statistics. In there, the conversion validity was normally we expect the loading was 0.5, and normally single loading is expected, but unfortunately there were some few cross loadings can be found in this training and development and the setting standard and the effectiveness of academic performance management, but it's accepted because less cross loadings, but most of them are with the first loading you can accept it more than 0.5, so it's validity was okay for proceed the research. So these are my descriptive statistics. I'll be explaining most of. Even when I was doing my previous research, I think it was a female-dominated professions in the international school, but it's a mainly female-dominated bit, I feel, because most of males are working as lecturers. And then when you look at the age category, most of experienced and senior lecturers can be found in this field. It's nearly represent. Nearly 65% can be found more than 40. So that means it's good sign to contribute to the performance management in the degree awarding institutions because of that. And when you look at the qualification, even most of the master degree holders and PhD holders can be found in the field with 73.8%. That's also a good point to think about education, a good quality education, and that will affect the effectiveness of performance management of the degree awarding institutions. And when you go to regression analysis, and here we can see B coefficient, which indicates when you increase the 1 unit in measurements of performance, that will what average will increase in your dependent variable. For each of these variables, we can see hypothesis 1A measurements of performance. When it increased 1 unit, it increased by 0.177, and training and development 8.08. So effective academics positively is affected. So it's good. And when you look at the significance, it's all less than 0.05, where I can see hypotheses are accepted, measurements of performance to the EAP, is significant relationship, and training development to EAP, there's significant relationship, setting standard to EAP, there's significant relationship, and organization culture to EAP, there's significant relationships. So when I was checking the linearity, also I have included doubling Watson, where we can see in autocorrelation and VI for actually multi-correlation, but I'll be explaining mainly these two, and autocorrelation also will be explained. And here we can see the p-values were actually less than 0.05, where we can get significant relationship, especially it was not H4 and H2A. It was their significant relationship between independent variable and a mediator, and the mediator to the dependent variable. And when you look at R square means actually your independent, what percentage your independent variable explain your dependent variable. Normally in social researches, normally the requirement is 0.10, that's mean 10%, but here it's I got 0.349, that's mean 34.9%, where it's equal to be 35%. But when I was discussing this with some researchers, I think they said it's better if we can have more than 50%, but it's unavoidable. This is the rate I have got, 34.9%. And then the independent variable to mediate is 25.7, and the mediate to dependent variable is 22.4. So I'll be explaining autocorrelation over here. The autocorrelation means mainly whatever the data you have, it can be used in the future. So as an example, in the climate, in the today will be decided from information tomorrow's climate, where it's not acceptable. So in here, it's doubling Watson is very close to 2. So that's what we expect. So in this case, all the results we got, it's very close to 2. So they can say autocorrelation is less autocorrelation, or no autocorrelation can be expected from this. So then we can proceed. This was explained. And when it comes to the normality, that means what we are checking here, the normal distribution data, normal distribution of the data. And here, the normally, based on the literature, the Heitel and 2010 Brian, they have given the skewness it should be between -2 and +2, then it's accepted. And the kurtosis should be between -7 and +7, then it's accepted. So data, all these variables, I tested, it's got less than, it's between -2 and +2 for the skewness, and kurtosis -7 and +7. So then we can see a statistical significant, normal distribution in the data can be seen. So same thing I have taken from the SPSS. And then I'll be checking here, multicollinearity. The method, I have used 2 methods to check the multicollinearity in here. So in this Pearson correlation was checked. So you can see all these Pearson correlations, it will be, the requirement will be less than 0.7. It's achieved less than 0.7. That means no multicollinearity, or less multicollinearity can be observed. Multicollinearity means actually independent variables, high correlated independent variables. So that will bias the model, and so that can be minimized when we don't have a multicollinearity. So then we can, I was not explaining before the VIF. So the VIF also can be checked for the multicollinearity. So variance of inflation, normally we accept requirement will be, should be less than 3, then it's great and excellent. VIF is less than 5 is good, and VIF is less than 10 is okay. But in this case, all the VIF are less than 3, so it's accepted. So no multicollinearity can be seen. This is homoscedasticity. So homoscedasticity is a condition where the variance of residuals are consistent across all level of independent variables. Actually, we can have different test 11 tests. They are sometimes be difficult to get the good result from 11. So we go for graphical method, and in the graphical method, you can see there is no funnel shapes. Almost all the spots are close to the variable and response more along the line of best fit. So we can say which would suggest the homoscedasticity from these variables. And I'm sorry. This is my mediating analysis. In the mediating analysis, we have we can check first of all direct effect. So when you look at the direct effect, we can see the p-value. P-value I'll take. It should be more than plus or minus 1.696 will be significant. But in the measurements to H1A, there is no significant relationship according to the mediating analysis in here. But other direct effects, you can see a significant relationship when you look at the p-value, because it's less than 0.05. And when you go to the t-value should be plus or minus 1.96. In this case, still the first one, MP to EAP, it doesn't support, and it support TD. Other all the direct effects can be seen because it's more than 1.96. TD-EAPM is 1.986, and the other one is ST to EAP will be 2.7966. So its significant relationship can be seen. In addition, when you look at upper limit of confidence interval there, so we look at this one in here, the indirect effect. Direct effect. This you can see here. It should be, the requirement will be 0 doesn't fall between upper and lower limit. Now in this case, a 0 doesn't fall under upper and the lower limit, then it is accepted and it is significant, statistically significant. So when you go to the indirect effect, this is called lower limit of bootstrap confidence interval. So that also, and the upper limit also should be, should not fall between 0, then it will be significant. So all these areas we can see, all these hypothesis, it is not 0, it's fall between the upper lower limit. So its positive figures can be seen. Therefore, significant relationship can be observed, all these things. So that's what already I have explained. Then what should we explain? And this is the next part. My objective is to see the effectiveness of academic performance management. So yeah, I have used a Likert scale, and I have given through effectiveness the low level, moderate level, and the high level. And here the measurements of performance, it was 3.9, my mean value, and standard deviation is 0.55. And here it's a moderate. And then training and development effectiveness is high, setting standards is high, organizational culture again moderate. So overall effectiveness of the performance management in degree awarding in Sri Lanka, it is moderate effectiveness can be found. So there are steps that we can take to improve that. This is the qualitative analysis. In the qualitative analysis, I have selected 20 heads in the institutions, and 45 questions were asked. So this is the outcome what we get. When you look at the measurements of performance, the performance evaluation is done only once a year. Actually, in the degree awarding institution, it should be done every semester. Then only we can see how with the lecturer's performance. And only classroom observation is used for the performance appraisal. Okay, that is not, there should be some, because behavior fact is given more preference and more weightage, and P method should be changed, whatever the P method we have, because it has different errors, and proper evaluation form should be used. Most of the institute, when you look at the training and development, most of the institute do not conduct training program to improve the teaching methodology and psychology, because it's only the training program given by the affiliate institution, affiliate university most of the time. Therefore, it should be concerned, because it is needed to check the progress of the lecturers after the training program. Even interviews should be held to see whether there's an improvement among them. Setting standards. Unit plan and moderation meetings are important for teaching. Most of the universities, degree awarding institutions in here, there is no moderation meeting with the institute located in other country. But some institutions in Sri Lanka, I have experience in working in Australian universities. So we have moderation meeting every semester, at least 3 moderation before we teach, while we are teach, and after teaching and marking. So this is actually improve our performance standard. Sometimes covering module is not done before the semester exam. Some lecturers that can be seen, and some lecturers are not bothered to improve their qualification and performance. That's the outcome of setting standard. And the organization, when you look at the organizational culture, most of the lecturers give their cooperation to make the institution event successful, like graduation, and sometimes some institutions, they can organize field trips, especially some units like managing for sustainability, we need to visit to places. Some institutes organize trips which improve the motivation. There are cases that lecturers wear dress code which is not suitable for the institutions, and some institute discipline should be improved. There are situation that lecturers use harsh words to students, and they are not. Sometimes we can see in the some when we discuss with some heads, some lecturer, they don't want the students to ask questions. So that's some issues that we can find here. So that's the outcome. These are the findings in my research. Moderate effectiveness was revealed with support of Likert scale, and lecturers are not happy with the current performance evaluation system. Current performance evaluation system has errors such as halo, leniency, and central tendency effects are there. So only classroom observation is used for the performance appraisal. Performance evaluation method should be changed, especially like a multi-rater system. Most of the institutes do not conduct training programs to improve teaching. Lecturer participate only training program conducted by the affiliate institute. It is university. It is needed to check the progress of the lecturers perform after training. Feedback interviews are not conducted after training. Training helps to get rewards and job security. When you look at the setting standard, unit plan and lecture slides are really important, because we can see this some institutions, and we can to know some with some lecturers when we discuss it's understood that some institution they don't offer, because some institute they prepare and send it to the lecturer here, but some institute they don't, and they don't know exactly grade boundary where to produce and what to include in the slides. So it's really bad. Sometimes covering modules were not done before the semester exam. Some lecturers are not bothered to improve their qualification and performances. So organizational culture, some institute organize education trip for lecturers, which improves motivation. There are cases that lecturer wear dress code which is not suitable. There are few incidents. I get to know from while I was doing this research. Some institute discipline should be improved. There are situations that lecturers use harsh words to students, which is not acceptable. So the conclusion and the recommendation. At data analysis, it's observed that effectiveness of academic management moderator should be improved. At data analysis, it was found that existing performance evaluation system is not appropriate and inadequate for developing organization information era. So what we suggest here is we have to multi-rater system like 360-degree performance appraisal method should be implemented, and these institutions should conduct training program in addition to the training program offered by the main university to improve the lecturers, the teaching methodology, and the child psychology, etc. It is really important. And the unit plan and the moderation meeting should be implemented, because it's exactly guide you what you are exactly doing. And degree awarding institute should be responsible to maintain suitable organizational culture. Okay, like a dress code and how you behave and all this stuff. So that will all improve your performance, effectiveness of the performance management. And final recommendations: proper error-free, unbiased performance evaluation should be introduced to the degree awarding institution. Every degree awarding institution should conduct performance appraisal at least twice a year. If they can't do it in semester-wise, at least twice a year. Should provide training to the evaluators, because some evaluators, they don't have enough training to evaluate the lecturers. So that's another thing. And after the performance appraisal, feedback interview should be held and should inform lecturers' performance and their weaknesses. And that's really important. Without informing, if even the institute conducts performance appraisal and all these things, if it is not conveyed to the lecturer, there won't be improvement. Every institute has organized separate training session for all lecturers in addition to the training programming by the main university. Unit plan moderation meeting with unit coordinator has to be held in all the institutions. This helps new lecturers to go through what they are going through. That's really important point, the unit coordinators, because some institutions we can't find. So it's important to have, because then there will be a good coordination. Motivational program should be conducted to improve the motivation of the lecturers to improve their performance. More welfare events such as trips should be organized. Then they will be motivated, they are happy, they feel like job satisfaction will improve. Lecturers should not be allowed to punish the students or use harsh words to students, since it affects the performance management of degree awarding institutions. All the institutions should introduce a suitable dress code for the lecturers. My limitations are, in this study, only the lecturer performance management is considered, and further research is carried out from 20 institutes in Western Province out of 30 institutions located in Sri Lanka. From each institute, only 20 lecturers were selected to get a feedback, 400 lecturers out of 850 population. This is my references.
Thank you, Dr. Anuradha. Over to you, Dr. Navaratna, for your comments.
Yes, I really happy about your research, Teddy, because that's an essential one for today. Because entire performance of the academic organizations dependent upon the performance of the academics, because academics play a major role
Yes,
in
doctor.
the educational institutions.
Yes.
Therefore, I mentioned that overall performance of an organization in the academic sector is dependent upon the performance management system. I think
We can't hear you.
whether you select both.
Doctor, I didn't hear your question, doctor.
Yes, you have found there's a problem in technique. Can you
Doc-
hear me?
no,
Can
no,
you hear
doctor, doctor, you are lagging, doctor. You are lagging, so I can't hear exactly.
me? What's the problem?
I think so because
No, can't you hear?
yeah. Now I can hear, doctor. But before
Right,
it you were lagging, so it was
right,
difficult
right,
question.
right. Did you select only the government organizations or both
Yeah,
government and
yeah.
private organizations?
No, doctor, only private sector. Mainly, I have
Okay.
selected private, yeah, because government sector I have not selected
I
because
think
it's
there are difference there. In government sector, the performance evaluation is system is governed by the UGC, because there is only one system of
yes,
performance evaluation, all government higher education institutes, universities.
yes,
Then I
doctor.
think in private sector organization, there are different type of performance evaluation system unique to those organizations.
Yes, yes,
Then in that, I think there's a very big variability among those institutions.
correct.
Therefore, how can you within that big variability, how can you come to this conclusion like that?
Doctor,
Related to
because
those things? How did
I
you minimize those things? How did you select that sample to minimize the sample must be so homogeneous,
hmm.
uh, approximately homogeneous? How did you select that sample? Then,
uh, sample selection is actually because actually there's a limitation there because I have selected on 20 out of 30 international, sorry, degree awarding institutions Sri Lanka. So because I have selected this 20, it represent when you look at 30, it's like more than 47, 67% representing the institution wise. So when you look at the sample, actually out of 850, according information I have got from each institute when I contact with them, there were nearly 850 lecturers. So I believe it's nearly 50%. It's a quite a good amount to do the research because out of 850 population, you select nearly 50% of the respondents. So you can get, I feel, a good
yeah,
outcome from that.
right, okay. Then can you go to your objectives?
Yes.
Objectives of the study. And have you included there is a mediator in there is an organizational culture, I think so.
Yeah.
And did you include that your mediator in these objectives?
Actually, the mediate automatically will be included, doctor, because our main objective is to identify the effectiveness of academic performance management. So
Hmm?
mediate is already included because
Yeah.
when I am checking the effectiveness, all
Hmm.
the, all the variables effectiveness was calculated, and then the overall effectiveness. So
Yes,
therefore, it's
yeah, but there are so many factors. So there may be so many mediators
okay,
in that
yes.
one, but you have not included culture because you are specified on the culture.
Mhm.
So all the others are going through the culture, organizational culture. I think if you include that one in these objectives, that is
Ah,
better.
okay, doctor.
That is my suggestion.
Yes, doctor. I will think about. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, doctor. It's
And
really
also, can you go to your R-square value?
yes. This one.
Yeah, in R-square values, yeah, one normally this R-square explain the regression value out of the total variability. In that one, this explains third
34.9%.
Yeah, percent. This is 25%, and
Yeah.
this is 22%. That means there's a very low R-square values. Those things.
Not
And when you go through the data set, I think there are some extreme cases in your data set. Oh, there is a very big residual variability.
Yeah, there can be. Actually, when I got this result, doctor, I checked further with the books and the thingy. So, normal social researchers, what they mention is, if your R-squared value is more than 10%, then we can say it accepted. I agree with you what you are saying. I know there is a problem here. It's only 35%, which is not enough. I agree with you. So yeah, it's a good point, sir. Thank you. I agree.
Right. Your research is good then. This is your topic is very good. And also, did you go to that? You have conducted both qualitative and quantitative studies.
Yes.
In your findings, you have given priority for that culture because what is the effect of culture in this organizational performance?
That's I have mentioned here the how organization culture mainly. What I see is that now we have a different culture in Sri Lanka. So we respect our teachers, lecturers, and then the way we dress and all these things. That's what I was going to test from this because it's really affected. I feel because if there is no discipline and respect in there, it will affect the. I mean, lecturer has to respect the teacher, student has to respect the lecturer. So therefore, then that will improve the effectiveness of the performance management. That's what we can see some researches done in the Western world. It was there, but not exactly this point. Some other points related to that. I'll give you some more point, Doctor.
No, that is in our culture normally the respect is expected by the lecturer normally. It's in Western cultures normally that is not.
No, Western culture, what they say, doctor, when I read the research, when I was reading the research, they expect both the parties respect each other. Now, here culture is different, exactly. So that's why I said most of the researchers are Western world related to education institutions. So that's why I'm trying to change it and apply to our country.
I think that is given in your empirical analysis that is lacking in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And also other analysis in comeback alpha that is good. I think I saw that is more than 7 point. All the
comeback alpha, yes.
Comeback alpha that is good.
More than 7, yeah.
That is not true.
Yeah.
VIF values. Didn't you check that multicollinearity?
Yeah, multicollinearity is it's less than 3, doctor. I'll check. I'll show you.
VIF values.
It's here. I don't know. I hope you can. Yeah, it's less than 3. So less than 3 means excellent.
Less than is good. That is good. There is no. That should be more less than 5. That is good.
Yeah. Less than 5. So good. Yeah.
That's no problem. Then again, can you go to your topic?
Yeah.
I think that because you have studied in that private sector only.
Yes, mainly a private sector. Yes.
Therefore, in this, when I see this topic, I cannot understand that. Because you have generalized this topic to all the students.
True
you
enough.
Can make something.
True enough. I will.
Suggestion. Suggestion. You can make something in this topic. I think that is better. Because this one is now this is a growing area, area, and you have selected that area, And there are so many differences in government sector. I mentioned that that is unique, and differences are the same performance evaluation system is used by all the universities.
Yes, yes, doctor.
But in private sector differences, and those differences you have conducted your research.
Yes.
And also, can you go to that research gap?
Yes.
Research gap, theoretical gap. Okay. Okay. Your understanding is that a person evaluation system is not good, not effective.
No, I mean, I didn't say like that exactly, because most of the researchers on this area was done in other countries, Western world, not in Sri Lanka. So therefore, we don't find one researchers, and we don't find even Western world. Sometimes when we refer, I mean, lot of researchers are through quantitative analysis only they have used, not the qualitative. So therefore, in Sri Lanka, very less, and therefore, I thought of doing the mixed method to this research.
Yes, you have selected one independent variable, that is training and development. I think so. It is training and development. When you evaluate the training and development, what are the indicators you use to evaluate that training and development?
Yeah, I have the indicators. I'll show you. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, doctor. So when you look at the training and the development, my dimensions were positive outcome. My indicators were job satisfaction and the motivation.
Motivation, right.
Yes.
Right. Right, okay, you have conducted your research, you have tried to achieve the target of your research, and your recommendations are very good, because that's the timely. We need those recommendations in that sector for the development of that sector.
Yes, doctor.
Then that is good, but I think you have to make some changes.
Yes.
That will improve your quality. I gave those suggestions to improve the quality of your research.
Yes, I will do that.
After this research, you will get the PhD, and then you have to answer all those questions as a PhD holder. Then when you see this your research, anybody,
Yes,
should be very high quality research. I suggested all those things to improve your quality of your research. Then thank you very much. And I think Dr. Dilka will ask
okay.
his
Thank you.
comments.
Thank you very much, doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Navaratna. Over to you, Dr. Dinuka, for your comments.
Yeah, hello, Dr. Kar. Good effort. Yeah, you have done a very good job, I think.
Thank you very much, doctor.
So, a few points to improve only. Yeah?
Okay.
You go to your contents below, please.
Okay. Yes.
So here, finally, it should be your limitations should come here as a slide. Limitations in the sense not only the scope, but within your scope also you can find some limitations, like maybe you didn't do a comparative study or something.
Yes.
And also you should include the implications and contributions also. What is the contribution for the theory you have given? You have selected 2 theories, right, doctor?
Yes, doctor.
You have to justify. My main concern in this study is justifications are very low. For example, why did you select these two theories? You have to justify it from existing literature or with your analysis. So actually, why did you select these two theories and how you have used these two theories for your study?
Yeah,
That's
actually,
my concern.
yeah, I can tell. Doctor, exactly, it's mentioned here. Now, when you go for the goal setting theory, so what will happen is when you goal setting theory, what will happen is when you given a target to a lecturer or someone, then he will achieve it. So that will automatically improve the performance of that lecturer, and finally it will affect the effectiveness of the academic performance management. And when you go to the feedback loop theory, it says you should give given feedback continuously. It's a continuous feedbacks will, imagine if you do something good and the feedback will further improve him, so that will improve the performance and it directly affect the performance management of that particular institute.
I agree, doctor. I agree. I mean, I'm not arguing about the theory content. I'm suggesting you, why did you select these two theories? There must have been hundreds and hundreds of theories in performance management application. I'm just, if you can justify, it's good. Why did you select these two theories for Sri Lankan context, and how did these two theories were used to develop your conceptual framework? Now you have selected three IVs, no? You have taken the three IVs. You should
Yes.
justify these IVs should come from these two theories. Otherwise, they can challenge you, because
Okay.
why did you select? There must, if you take actually the performance management of this academic, there might be about 100 variables, no? But you have to justify why you took these three variables specifically, because you have done a concurrent study, mixed method concurrent, it goes together, is it? The quantitative and qualitative part?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's my area, but it can be challenged for
Yes,
you, because
I can see.
why
I can
did you select these two theories and how did you build your conceptual framework should be linked. Actually, the theories are used to find a link between the variables and the phenomena. Okay, that's the theoretical contribution it's given. So if you can provide it through literature, you have to justify it also.
Okay.
It's good if you can do that. Otherwise, the theories are like isolated. It's no value. It's like you have just mentioned two theories. Okay.
Okay, doctor.
Better to link the theories and the variables if you can. And why did you select these two theories? Okay.
Yes. Okay, doctor.
That's one point, and include the implications and contributions also, because it's normal standard. Now, if you're going to publish this thesis,
Yes.
you're going to publish this thesis, you will have to provide the implications and contributions. Contributions in the sense, what is your contribution for theory? In a PhD thesis, they will expect it. Like now, these two theories, you are actually providing more support to these two theories, right? That's why you have to show it in your, otherwise it will be problem in publications. Okay. Contribution is, of course, you have written a lot. Contribution is monada proyojan, and what are the benefits for your field. That also it's better you can write in a slide. Other one point, doctor, I want to mention is the findings should be related to your objectives. When you are writing findings, it's not you are writing about your independent variables. It should be linked to your objectives. Otherwise, lecturers cannot, or your audience will be not very clear. You have achieved your objectives. Okay.
Yes.
So when you are writing your findings, it should be linked to, definitely linked to your objectives. Like now, you can write your findings like first objective. You can write the first objective, or you can write your hypothesis, and then you can find your evidence and write like these are my findings, and link your findings for your objectives. Am I clear, doctor, to you?
Yes, yes, doctor. And thank you very much, doctor. It's really appreciated.
So then it's actually rewording is required there. Okay.
Yes,
Other my main concern is your methodology. You have to use some kind of a solid approach. Now you have justified mixed method to get a holistic approach. Okay. But you use the sound and onion or something, because your research approach is not mentioned, is abductive or deductive. You have to mention those main points maybe in a table. Like
Yeah.
the philosophy, it can be, I think it's more of a pragmatism kind of philosophy, or it's possibly, you have to mention those in the one slide better. Then your methodology is clear, nobody can challenge it.
Yes.
Okay, doctor, clear?
Yes. Yes, doctor. Yeah, it's clear.
So if you can, now you have done, there are mixed method, you can't just write it's a mixed method. There are mixed method types. Actually, there's concurrent and sequential. That means you start from quantitative and go to qualitative, or start from qualitative or go to quantitative, or you do both together. So Creswell, I recommend you to read Creswell a bit and include them. It's a literature, no, you have to just write it.
Yeah.
Because you have done the now you have done the concurrent mixed method according to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Prefer Creswell 2018 and get what mixed method are you going and why? Because you can find a justification. No, you can concurrent. You have done 20 qualitative number of interviews. No, 20 heads you have interviewed.
Yeah.
So 20 is actually 12 is enough, but minimum. But you justify that sample size also. Why do you want 20? And purposive sampling, of course, maybe you are purposing because you want to focus on the heads. Out of that's okay, but you have to justify why 20. You are going after 20 samples. Also, your population. Doctor, is your population the schools or the lecturers?
Lecturers.
Okay, then from lecturers you have selected 400 from 850, no?
Yes.
Okay, this is much more. Now it's okay. You are justifying. You feel 50% is okay, but better if you can get some literature evidence of your sample size. Minimum sample size you have to mention. You can take either Morgan's table or something and say minimum size is for 850 is I don't know, maybe about 100, but you're going for 400 because of this. Otherwise, why are you going excess 300?
Yes.
Some literature evidence should be there. Okay.
Agree, doctor. Thank you very much.
Literature evidence should be there. And this questionnaires, where did you get for the quantitative?
The questionnaires actually it's with the it's going with questionnaires. I mean, actually it's developed with the help of previous literature, some and mainly some previous literature, but it's we changed it to our Sri Lanka some questions.
Yeah, because
Previous
you
research.
have to have previously validated questions, and better to mention in your you have referred to qualitative, I think, very clearly the item number and all. The structure of the question is just one slide recommended to put, and where your questions came from is recommended by me to put. Otherwise, you can't develop these questions for quantitative studies by your own.
Yeah.
You have to get previous validated question. Okay.
Yes.
So better to put that. Your beta coefficient, I saw it's written as B coefficient. Better to correct them. No, either write path coefficient.
No, it's B coefficient. Wait.
No, it should be B.
B.
Yeah.
That's it. No, I'm sorry. It's B though. B coefficient.
Yeah, it should be beta or path coefficient. Check the literature. I'm 100% confident it should be beta. And the other my concern is here and all says it should be between -1 and +1, right? But you have got 8, 2, and more than 1. So better justify with some literature that this can happen in your field. Someone can challenge.
Yeah.
Because here strictly here, if you refer here 2022, of course it's smart TLS, but he strictly recommends in his coefficient figure should be between -1 and +1. If it's more than 1, he challenges, he states it can be multi-quality problem is there, but better, I don't know your field, and maybe you go into deep in literature in this field, you can find maybe beta coefficient more than 1 where they have justified it can be more than 1. Kindly I advise you to look on that also. Okay,
doctor.
So those are the main things. Justification, please consider of the onion. Check on the beta coefficient.
Yeah.
include the questionnaire, put a limitation finally, and the future research is also lacking, no, in the slide. So
Sure.
that's better to include that also, then it will be complete. So overall, it's a good presentation. We have covered a lot of areas,
Thank you.
and we have covered almost the sequence is good. Only thing I think before the beta coefficient, if you can put the what you call the normality, if you can put the normality evidence before, it's good, but then you can justify you are going to this statistic methods are justifying SPSS. And also put some that you have done some data screening, right? Missing values, outliers, you have checked
Yeah.
that. So overall, I wish you all the best and good performance. I provided this for the improvements. Okay.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
doctor.
Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dinuka. So now I think we have come to the end of the session. So is there anything, Dr. Anuradha, you need to say?
So no, I mean, I should thank you very much for all the comments made by these doctors. It's really helpful. I hope to do further go through all these things and consider all these suggestions and do changes where it is necessary. And thank you very much for your suggestions, positive comments. Thank you very much.
Okay, right. Okay, let's wind up the sessions. So thank you, Dr. Anuradha. Thank you, Dr. Navaratna. Also, thank you, Dr. Dinuka, for joining us today. Have a
Yes,
nice
thank
day
you very
today.
much.
Have a nice day, everyone.
You too. Okay, bye.